It's time to watch a little video of a pioneer of decoding human behavior and preferences with biosciences. In this interactive session, NFTs Playground from PANINI to BANKSY, Diana Derval, who is PhD, MBA and chair of DervalResearch, decodes the behavior of NFT bias using latest advanced in physiology with business case from PANINI to BANKSY. Get ready to learn a lot of things. It's a video. Thank you.
Bonjour, hello. Thanks for having me at the Finvest Forum. We will be talking about NFTs. So what can we do with these NFTs? So I think we just are in, we just passed stage 0. So stage 0 is pure speculation. Yeah, let's face it, many people went into the NFT business because it was new, it just started, and they were curious about it. Stage 1, where we are in the middle right now, is more the first purpose of NFT, because what do you do with a piece of digital thingy that is expensive? You show off, exactly. So the stage 1 is showing off. So there are several ways of doing it. So for instance, you have the case of Jay Cho, a famous singer, who just bought a Bored Ape NFT from the Bored Ape collection, $1.3 million. So the previous owner were Justin Bieber, Serena Williams, and there was even a press release issued about that because it's newsworthy. So it's a bit like who is currently owning the super yacht or who is currently owning this particular diamond. So luxury brands are immediately the one who got heavily involved. Even the CEO of Cartier made a declaration about the intention in the metaverse, Web3 and NFTs. Burberry launched some NFT that were coupled with a real-life limited edition scarf. Very successful. Might have spotted some virtual fashion show. Yeah, so this is all great NFT material. Another way of showing off is ranking. So in the gaming world, you have it a little bit also. Some gamers like to show off with a certain achievement badge or something like that. Why not with a Gucci, accessory? So you also have this type of showing off that is going on and that already existed because in-game purchases and skins, they have always been around. So what is less developed yet, and we will see with the limitation of NFT why, what is less developed is everything that is linked to the sense of belonging. So you don't necessarily want to show off, still a little bit sometimes, but you want to show that you belong. So we're talking about fandom. People who are fan of a football team, basketball team, a celebrity. So these people who today are buying a lot of merchandising, souvenir, tickets, and so on, it's really a huge market. So you have part of it that are collectible. So you can think of PANINI, they had this little picture with the different teams. Now you have them as NFT, of course. And stage 3 that was not tapped at all into is useful NFTs. So you can imagine, all the people who today are buying a piece of music, are buying an audiobook, are buying, this type of content. So I would say content consumption could completely be done in the form of NFT. The major issue are the cost, the sustainability, and also the usability. So what about the costs? Right now, this architecture is working with a proof of stake. So you know for sure who is the owner, you have to digitally timestamp everything. So it costs a lot of server time. So I think some people made the calculation that minting a couple of NFT was like a flight from Paris to San Francisco or something like that, which is really not for free. And you have the gas fees, which means it's like transaction fee. Each time you buy, you sell an NFT, you pay a gas fee. That is like 70 euro, 100 euro. It's quite, you know, if you are, let's say, a fan trying to buy your signed baseball cap, the price of the gas fee, the cost will be too high. So for sure, the stages, you know, 2 and 3 I was mentioning with fandom and useful NFT are completely blocked by these gas fees. Yeah? So there are some work in process to simplify things, because the other consequence is not just the price, it's the sustainability. BTS, I was talking about this boys band, they have a lot of fans. You know, when you have the Black Lives Matters that happened, in 1 hour they raised $1 million to donate, to top their own donation of $1 million. So, you know, they have quite a fan base that they can, you know, federate. And when they said they wanted to sell NFTs, their fan base said, oh, but we're concerned because this is not sustainable. And then they found a partner, Dumaru, that is a competing blockchain architecture than Ethereum, which is the one ETH that is being used, let's say, in Western country, and that is less polluting. So the Ethereum architecture also is moving to an Ethereum 2 that will be consuming less resources. So you really have like here a sustainable issue that maybe even if it's not visible, people know more about, and some target persona are not really impressed by it. The other aspect is usability. I don't know if you try to mint some NFTs, or to be honest, it's not like super user-friendly process. Yeah? I'm waiting for a more simple system. So what is sure is if you have some popular platform like Twitter, I heard that Elon Musk is studying the possibility to create some green mint farms, for instance. I don't know how it will look like, it sounds fascinating. Then you also have, for instance, when you look at NFT, the usability, you have to think of TikTok. TikTok, a huge player, and since past months, if you look at the different articles, press releases, you will find out that ByteDance, which is a company owning TikTok, now they have been renamed Douyin to have the same name as the TikTok they have in China that has 600 million users. So they are valued $58 billion, and recently they purchased a lot of companies. So they purchased a company called Pico for valued $2 billion that is doing VR. They purchased a company doing like virtual ticketing. They purchased a platform with comics, you know, selling. So you see that they are somehow, you know, building a whole ecosystems ready for more popular NFT. And for sure, the day NFT are coupled with a Twitter or with a TikTok, we will see the real impact of this new way of doing. When you hear NFT, often you hear also metaverse and so on. So maybe we should talk about the link between them for a minute. So the metaverse is a universe you will evolve in. So for sure, if the purpose of your NFT is to show off, you need a place to show off. But look, Burberry, they solved the problem by giving you a scarf you can show off and online and offline, you know. But you could imagine an environment that is not 3D, for instance, yeah, because metaverse, I think, is often linked to VR, to 3D. And 3D is not for everybody. And you can take as an analogy, if you are good at parking your car without assistance, then you're all good in the metaverse. If not, you know, it's not that easy, and it's more like a nice visit once in a while. It's not like something you will want to do on a daily basis. So you have the issue of 3D vision, you have the issue of proprioception, how you can move, you know, in this type of environment. So everybody is not talented for that. And you also have the, of course, more famous vection-induced sickness, when something is moving and you are not moving, you know, and then you get a bit dizzy or worse. Yeah. So for sure, the metaverse, I'm not mentioning even the goggles. You need to have a good nose because for now they're a bit heavy. So the metaverse comes with even more, you know, limitations. So it's even less inclusive, even less people can really feel comfortable there. So you can totally imagine that for certain type of NFTs, the places where they will be displayed are 2D or they are cartoony, for instance, because a lot of people, you can see a big difference between people who like cartoon world and people who like hyper-realistic world. And hyper-realistic world is more difficult to achieve, you know. I think in some of the virtual world, their designer just discovered it would be good that people have legs. Yeah, probably it's good. Probably it's a bit better if people have legs. It's not just torso walking around, you know. So we are far from having such nice world that people who like realistic will feel completely comfortable. So metaverse and NFT is completely different, but for sure it's an enabler. For instance, if you take meta-human, so there have been a lot of progress, at least on digital human. So you have different companies like Digital Domains. They did, you know, Thanos in the Avenger, and they have recreated Teresa Tang, a famous but late singer, to give concerts every year. So it's like you're dead, you're still giving concerts. It has been done also for Tupac, recreating completely Tupac. So how it's working, this hyper-realistic human, if we can say digital human, is like you really create all the system, the veins, the way people breathe, the skin, so they reconstitute people in layer, you know, digitally. For instance, they did it on Gemini Man. I don't think it was such a success, but yeah, they tried. So in other movies, it was more successful. And now you have a very famous, completely meta human in China that is called Ayayi. So it's like a digital celebrity, and she's promoting a lot of different luxury products and so on. So you have really this celebrity online that are completely digital, this meta-human. You also have real celebrities that starts creating their online hyper-realistic twin to give performances. And probably that's why TikTok purchased this company doing the virtual ticketing. So that will become, I think, something to follow. So I would say the metaverse can be an enabler for some product services that need to be showcased in 3D. But for some other services, like you can buy an audiobook without being in a 3D world, I think it's okay. So I think you need to understand which business you are targeting or studying and see whether or not it has to be coupled with the metaverse. I think you should be careful indeed that there's a great match between your target persona, the type of business application, and the usability, you know, of the universe it will be distributed in, because if it's too difficult to access, if it's too expensive to access, the use case, even if it's there, it will not transform. So the other things to keep in mind is to keep an eye on these big players, you know, of course Twitter, of course TikTok. Why? Because they understand people. They know how to make things easy to use for people. So if tomorrow they start implementing NFT in their systems, it will immediately take off and create an ecosystem. So I think I just read also that ByteDance was planning an IPO, you know, I should call them Douyin now, we're planning an IPO. So maybe something to follow. Also, if you can link the NFT with the real life, I think that's the best. So having a little distinctive sign that they can show off outside, you know, what is happening in the NFT and the digital world will probably be something very interesting. Yeah. So in conclusion, I would say that, okay, you have different stages in the NFT development. We are at the very beginning. So it's a bit like in any innovation process, you know, you have the euphoria phases, I think where I need, then you will have the disillusion, you know, like, oh, it's not as good as I thought, and then you will have the real use cases, yeah? And the real use cases will be more into communities, you know, so more into social media integration and more into useful, practical, you know, use of NFTs. The market is just getting in place. And there's a lot of players that will benefit from it no matter what happens. You know, for instance, the people who are doing the blockchain architecture, like Ethereum, no matter your business, you will use this type of things. Or companies that are specializing in IP protection. Because in the same way you can copy an LV bag, you can copy an NFT. Recently, I think it was Jecho again, I think someone stole his NFT, can you imagine? So the proof that NFT has value, you even have NFT theft. So maybe you need to do NFT insurance. So there's a whole market, a whole business that will build around the NFT that is not really in place in terms of legislation, IP protection, distribution, and so on. So I think a lot of opportunities, a lot of uncertainty, but I hope that with this discussion we just had, you can take some more measured risks, you know, in your projects and investment. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Kamel, for the opportunity. I wish you all a fantastic continuation of the Finverse Forum.